Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the Logitech Play to Win Series Season 3, the Valorant Quarterly Tournament Division B matches. It is going to be Purple Overkill taking on. No, sorry. It is going to be Net Newbies taking on Crash Landing on you. Bit of a weird name, but from what I can see on the roster, they seem to be a very dominant team. I think I see a couple of players who were previously in a top team, who is now the team has kind of broken apart, and now they have come up with a new team. So let's take a quick look at the rosters before we start the game. One second. So yeah, you can see the rosters on screen on the side of Net Newbies, who we have seen before. We have Charlie, we have Overload, we have Vali Sundara, we have Norm, we have Robotica and Empire. And on the side of Crash Landing on You, we have Tabir, Sinbad, we have Suleiman, we have Thunderflash, we have Hurricane and Kiwi, who is going to be taking part. So I think there was a problem with one more player, but until we do get into that, I want to give a huge shout out to Logitech for coming in for the third season as well and hosting this tournament, giving all the esports players out there the opportunity to compete and prove themselves, as well as walk away with some cash money there. There are prize pools for the Division B matches as well as the Division A, and of course Logitech doing this every quarter has just been absolutely insane. Has absolutely been an insane opportunity for these players out there. And of course, if you are in the market for any sort of new peripheral, Logitech is the way to go to. I myself went and got myself the Logitech G502 recently. This of course comes in the wireless and non-wireless version, if I'm not mistaken. I have the wired one. I'm not a fan of wireless, but yeah, I mean, it comes with all the bells and whistles that a mouse should have, and it's really good mouse for FPS players. I think if you ask majority of the FPS players out there, like which peripheral they're using as their day-to-day gaming mouse, it's going to be this Logitech G502. So if you do not have one, make sure to check it out. And of course, their laptops and headsets and basically mouse pads. I'm using a Logitech mouse pad as well. Half of it is Logitech. So if you are in the market for new peripherals, Logitech, do check out the Logitech peripherals. They are absolutely amazing. And with that, I think we are just waiting on one last player. So let's talk about these two teams. I think Net Newbies had a good run. They had a really good game previously, if I can remember right. They managed to completely whitewash their previous opponents, but now they are running into a team that has a bit of experience, because I have seen some of these names, the likes of Thunderflash, then we have Sinbad. These two players, I think if I'm not mistaken, are coming from a previously number 1 or 2 team in the country. It's just that now they are that team is kind of split apart, so these guys have to go back through the bottom of the barrel to climb their way back up. So this is definitely not a joke, any joke of team. But having said that, Net Newbies do have the potential to win this. We'll have to wait and see how they do fight it off. And of course, the map is going to be Bind. I'm seeing Bind after some time actually. I think it has mostly been Ascent and Haven that we've been looking at these tournament matches, and I haven't seen Bind during the tournament for quite some time. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but to tell you all why that is, we have none other than Might, caster who has been casting all the games for you. Might, are you there, Might?
I am here today.
Why do you think it is Bind, and why do you think people have not been picking Bind all this time?
Well, I think it's mainly because Ascent has a lot more straight-on approach when it comes to game plan. For example, when it the idea behind a lot of these Valorant maps is the fact that every map has a certain gimmick, right?
Yeah.
And for example, and when it comes to Split, it's the vents and the ropes. When it comes to Bind, it's the teleporters. When it comes to Ascent, the gimmick that Riot has put in, obviously Ascent being one of the first maps that was introduced after the beta. So this is a brand new map. So they didn't want to. They made it a little more similar to what other FPS games have, and they didn't want to make a huge gimmick. So what they did was they had doors, the rolling doors up in B side and up in A side.
Yeah.
And because of that, the players don't really have to. The doors can be broken down, and that because of that, the players don't really have to make a huge game plan to counter the gimmick that in the map that might work against or for them. So what they do is, so like in a certain sense, playing Ascent helps you pay a lot more attention to a strat based on your composition than a strat based on how the map is designed. But when it comes to bind, like you have to consistently think about how the teleporters are gonna come into play. For example, like you cannot complete, you cannot f- just ignore the fact that the teleporters exist, and the teleporters are gonna be one of the most important elements when it comes to rotations, and when it comes to stopping rotations, when it comes to defense, when it comes to holding angles, and it's even split. It's just so intense when it comes to mid. Like a lot of people are under the assumption that if you take mid control and split, you win the round, and
Yeah.
that is true because taking control of mid is supposed to be one of your main areas when it comes to starting out a game in pro play, which is exactly why Ascent is a lot more favorable to a lot of these teams, because Ascent does not require you to pay attention to how the map's gimmicks work against you. For example, the door in B, let's say you're going for a retake. The
Yeah.
attacking team has closed down the door. The only thing you have to do is break down the door, and that's a pathway open for you. And there's nothing really that they have to, go out of their way and think about when it comes to how the gimmick might affect them. Like the door, although it does give a sound cue, it doesn't really help. It doesn't really give a lot of assistance to any of the teams when it comes to a retake situation or a clutch situation, which is probably why a lot of these teams seems to prefer going into Ascent. But it seems as if though we have all 10 players on the lobby. I'm not sure what
No, it's I don't think that's the last player. I think it's someone else.
uh, but
Um, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Go on. Sorry about the
No,
disruption.
no, no, yeah, that's cool. But like again, when it comes to Haven as well, again, what we're seeing in Haven, the fact that we have again the second most picked map in the tournament is Haven. The reason for that, I suppose, is because of because of three sides, and what we've seen throughout the tournament is that a lot of these teams like to go for very aggressive compositions. They like to go for double duelist. We've seen a triple duelist comp, and Haven is amazing when it comes to attack,
Yeah.
because I mean all you have to do is show presence up in A, which would leave entire parts of the map missing, missing any defending, any control whatsoever, which means you can just easily like go on to side. The amount of times I've even my ranked games, the amount of times I've just walked into C while my entire team was up in A and had a plant down in C while
Yeah.
they come rotate back, it's the most ludicrous thing ever because it takes so much time for a defensive team to rotate. Even I mean, fro- it, it doesn't have to be from spawn, but even though you come through B, it takes a lot of time. And if we're going to talk about Icebox, the I mean, Icebox is not the most loved map after all. A lot of people seem to have hate towards it. I'm confused as to why that is, because I still think Icebox is one of the best maps in the game. I'm one of the very minority who thinks of it like that. But the fact that Icebox has has two sides which have to be played in very different ways is what I think makes Icebox so good. The fact that you can't just attack A the same way you attack B, because B has a lot more open angles, but A doesn't. A has a lot more corners to check. So the use of utility, the your game plan has to be really tight, which is why Viper became such a strong agent once teams
Yeah.
realized how she can be utilized in Icebox itself. Uh,
That's. I mean, Viper. I think it gained popularity just due to the fact that the Viper is was necessary to play Icebox. I mean, Icebox was one of the most hated maps when it came out, and I think Viper made that map playable in the competitive scene. I think that's Viper started gaining popularity. Um, I'm not sure what is happening. I think there's something wrong with the client.
I think so too. I think we saw another players on the observer side. Is it?
No, no, no. I
Not
think
too sure.
did it go into pre-game for you all of a sudden?
Yeah. I'm in pre-game. I'm waiting for the agent select to load up.
Okay, so that means I am not loading in. Um, there is a client issue. So guys, just hold on for a second. I think there is a small issue. Okay, now.
Again, Riot did tell us that there were a little bit of connection issues in the game itself. Yeah, and I was right. It seems as if though the, on the side of Team Net Newbies, they only have 4 players. One of the players are stuck in the observer area, so they have
No,
to.
no, that's actually not one of the players who is in obs. That's not one of the players from the side.
Oh,
But
oh.
the thing is, I think the issue has been sorted out, and I think the last player did not show up. I mean, that's unfortunate. They need to be there on time for matches. Discipline is very important. But having said that, the match has started. Over to you, Mike, to take us to the play-by-play.
Thank you, Tara. I'm not sure whether the referee is gonna go for a restart of the game, but I mean, we've seen Valsundra on the Omen. We're gonna see Robotica on the Reina. That is interesting. I mean, I assumed Robotica was gonna go for the Viper, knowing that. But again, a lot of players pick Viper on Icebox because a lot of Net Newbies team, not Net Newbies, have been playing on Icebox. We've seen both their games that they played on Icebox, and Robotica did a lot of good work on the Viper, but Master D42 on the Raze. Again, he played Killjoy in the earlier match. If I remember, Empire was on the Sova, so it's an understandable difference. He's going to go for the Sage here. Valisundara on the Signature Omen on the side of Crash Landing on You, a name of a popular K-drama. Again, I don't watch it, but then I just know how the name. We're gonna have a Brimstone. No Omen. Again, Brimstone, one of the strongest agents in Bind, even before his buff. And we have a Killjoy, a Sova, Breach, and a Jet. Not a double duelist comp. They are going to go for a single duelist comp, but with a Breach and a Jet. Again, this combo between a Breach and a Jet with the flashpoint and the dash is probably one of the most annoying things to deal with. You just get flashed the living hell out of you, and you have a Jet just running in with a Judge and taking you out, and you have nothing to do against it. But we are gonna go into play any time now as Sinbad with the Killjoy. Again, it comes down to preference when whether you're going to choose a Killjoy or a Cypher on this map. I personally think that Cypher's a lot better in Bind because of the fact that rotations are going to be quick and you have to be able to keep your utility intact. Unlike Killjoy's, where the moment she moves more than 40 meters, all her utility does deactivate, which doesn't really help the game, which doesn't really help a lot of quick rotations to happen. But again, Killjoy is a great anchor when it comes to stopping rushes, especially in the B side. Out of hookah, you never can jump out of hookah when there's a Killjoy molly right under you. You're just gonna get blasted. Soul River. I'm really liking the names of some of these players, like Deadshot, Soul River, and it seems as if though we are gonna go into game. It's gonna be a 4v5 again. This is quite unfortunate for Team Net Newbies. It seems as if though they're gonna go in with a double duelist comp, a single smoker, and a Sage. Unfortunate here for them to go for a 4v5, but the match pause has been turned on. A little technical issue to be solved again, as we constantly say, technical issues when it comes to connection, when it comes to all these peripherals not working. It's not really the fault of the players per se, which is why you should make sure to have checked your setup quite a while before the game starts. I mean, the recommended time is for you to check it at least 2 hours before the game starts, and to make sure they are all working and running. But then again, you can't really predict the future, and I can understand why these teams feel confident about their setups. But again, the Riot itself giving us a statement about the situation with the servers. Not really something they can help, but we're gonna go in for a 4v5. Killjoy on the side of Team Crash Landing on You is gonna set himself up in A again. This is the first time I'm seeing a Killjoy set himself up in A. It's very interesting. Sinbad, he's gonna go for the turret up in that U-hole area. Again, I really like this setup because what happens with the turret and the nano swarms there, what it does is that you don't have to have a player playing inside you, or you could just get the information that they're there already, which should mean you don't have to pay attention per se to go in and retake it anyway. You don't have to fight for control. And seems as if the Empire, oh, this is so unfortunate. It seems as if Empire has again disconnected from the side of Net Newbies. This would be unfortunate if Empire cannot connect back as Robotic Cartoons gets disconnected. This is not this is not the most, and Walisant has disconnected as well. It seems as if the teams want to restart the game per se, because the attacking team has already left the server. Yeah, understandable. They really want to start the game, as Varisundar has left the party as well. That is interesting. Is this gonna be a walkover though? I'm quite confused as to what the thought process here is. Tara, any information we have from the referee about the situation?
I mean, not right now, mate. I'm also waiting on confirmation as to what exactly is happening. Let's see once I get some information as to what is going on. I'll let you know. But right
It
now
seems
there isn't any. With, for me, it shows that four of the players on the side of Net Newbies are still there, but we do see a couple of people disconnected on the side of Crash Landing on you.
Crash Landin on the players are just
Just waiting. I think might have disconnected for a moment there. But anyhow, we're just waiting on what the official verdict for the match is going to be. Waiting on the last players to come, and I think the game seems to be on a restart. And just waiting on its confirmation. But until then, do not go anywhere. We will be right back. So do stay tuned in to the live stream, and we will be back shortly. Hi guys, really apologize for the delay. So from what we are hearing, the match will be deemed a walkover, which is very unfortunate. There has been some issues regarding a certain team. We are not we don't have all the information with us, but right now it is going to be what do you call Crash Landing on you, who is going to be walking away with the match against Net Newbies. Net Newbies not having all 5 players in the lobby being a massive issue there. I mean, guys, if you are in a competitive team, if you are competing for something, make sure to be disciplined about it, whether it's esports or anything in your day-to-day life. Make sure that you're disciplined enough. If matches that I be there by 7:30, get yourself ready. Make sure everything from your PC to your peripherals and your headsets, your TeamSpeak, your Discord is everything ready before a match, so that we don't run into these unfortunate situations when it comes to matches. But having said that, we do have more matches, but so we have another match starting at 10 p.m. So Make sure to join us again for that. Hopefully, it will be a really interesting match, and we won't run into any unforeseen problems like this, and we can have some entertaining Valorant coming your way at 10 p.m. But with that, it is me, Terra, and Might going to be signing off for the time being. Might we'll see these guys again at 10 p.m. Right?
Sure, we'll see you all at 10 p.m. Make sure to tune in. It's
Yeah,
unfortunate what happened here. Again,
for sure.
no, I mean, you have to like it's. I mean, not only do like I mean, you have to understand from the side of the organizers as well that competitive integrity must be kept for all these teams. Like you cannot
Exactly.
like it's really hard to do a tournament when you have the players coming in very late, and like it's just unfortunate. Really, it's might be their fault, might not be their fault, but like when it comes down to the day itself, I mean, rules are rules, isn't it?
Yes, with having said that, a huge shout out to Logitech for sponsoring the tournament, coming in for the third season as well, making sure that all these esports athletes have a chance to showcase their skills and to prove that they are some of the best in the country. They will be playing in Division B matches, and the top two teams will be moving on to Division A. So we are heading towards the very latter part of the tournament, so the games are definitely going to get more intense. So do join us again for that 10 p.m. match, which is definitely going to be a banger. So with that, it is going to be me, Terra, and Might signing off. See you all again at 10 p.m.